I'm Janine Howard, CEO and founder of Profile Magazine, and today I'm here with Noler Harris, who's actually called the Body and the Animal Whisperer, right? So what an interview starting off with that. So today I really want to get to know what is an animal and body whisperer, but also really dive into there's a new way of doing things that's actually an old way, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're really reclaiming that. And, you know, because we deal with a lot of entrepreneurs, what you do really is the other side of things. And for me, for example, being a business coach, there's one side of things that we teach female entrepreneurs about strategy, but sometimes they don't do it. And you're like the secret weapon about how to get them to be more in their business, but also more than that, isn't it? So tell us a little bit about what it is that you do for women in particular, isn't it?
Yeah. So I work with women all over the world who are either in business or they're in leadership, and they are really struggling with the emotional blocks that come up whilst they're trying to keep moving forward. And what happens is they can deal with the emotional stuff for so long on their own, but then it turns into physical pain.
Yeah.
And they start getting migraines or headaches or hip pain or digestive issues, neck pain, and then it stops their business because it gets to the stage where they just don't want to, they can't. They're in so much pain, or they just don't feel well, so they begin to procrastinate, and the business starts to slide.
Yeah. And then I assume that would affect every area of their life.
It really does. I really believe that if the woman of the family isn't 100% healthy, it really affects her children, her partner, and her animals as well. And that's why I do what I do, because I can work with a woman and the animals.
Wow. Now that's extremely interesting. I love that concept that, the woman of the family kind of grounds that feminine energy, and she needs to be in full energy flow, I guess, for everything else to flow.
Yeah, definitely. The woman is really an important role in the family. We have to do so much, especially now so many of us have got our own businesses, and we're still doing, all the kid pickups and the food shopping and the housework and looking after our partner when he comes home from work as well. And so we just get more and more put on us, and then we reach sort of breaking point, and the home becomes very disrupted because the woman is in a bad mood or not feeling 100%. The children then start to suffer, and then the pets.
Which leads me to something really interesting. So, we're going to dive more into what this is all about.
Yeah.
But there was a really interesting story about how you came to uncover your gifts of being able to help people through this.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Yes.
Because it's quite sweet, isn't it?
It really is. I used to work in the corporate industry, so I was very strategic. Would often have to plan everything. I'd want things done my way, like in control and things like that.
I get that.
Like a lot of women.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the main things that I work with women with. So
yeah.
So when we emigrated to Australia, I really wanted a dog, but didn't want that full commitment of having another pet, because we'd just lost our one when we was in England. And so we asked to look after C&I dogs, and the first one that came to us, they asked us to look after her for 3 weeks. She had cancer. She just had her toe amputated, and the vet had said that the cancer was all through her body and there was nothing else that they was going to do. And so really she came to us just while they did the paperwork, and she was going to be put to sleep. And I remember the day that she walked down the driveway towards me, I just felt this shift in my body. I physically felt it, and I knew I wasn't going to let her die. And so we started this journey together, and I just started to learn about alternatives. It was something that I'd never paid any interest in. I was purely doing it for Ella. I wanted to make her better. And she would come and nudge me if she wanted me to work with her, and then I'd work with her and she'd get up, shake and walk off. And I used to keep questioning myself, is this really working?
Yeah.
And we asked if we could keep her, and they said yes, definitely. And so over the next 6 months, she really got this spark back in her eyes. She just became like this pup again, and I just started learning more and more, and she was with us for nearly 6 years.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
And I love that this dog became the catalyst for you to kind of get off your corporate armour and your the blinkers of the way that you had thought before to then open up to what else could be possible.
Yeah.
So tell me, Anne, what did you find is possible? Like when you started going down this spiritual route and this energy work, what did you find was possible?
The main thing that took me so long to get over, and I kept just practicing and practicing, was that I could work with people and they wasn't in the same room with me. So they could live anywhere in the world, they'd be lying down on their own bed and they could get the same results as someone who was in the room. And like my skeptical mind would just keep questioning all the time, how can this be happening? And I remember I was...
And also too for the patient, like, is it this easy? Like I'm just lying down and you're not even here, is it this easy?
Yeah. And the thing is, they all kept saying to me, this is fantastic because I can feel the results. I'm not having to travel to appointments. Like they were still at home in their own home, so they were saving so much time.
Which means you can work with anyone, anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So before we go into that, I need to know more about like what did you uncover about like what modalities did you go and study and how did you get into this work that you could be healing someone by being not even in the same room?
Yeah. So I first started studying Reiki and probably over a year I became a Reiki master. I studied medical intuition. I became an advanced metaphysical anatomy practitioner.
An advanced metaphysical
anatomy
practitioner.
Yeah.
That sounds involved. How involved was that study?
It blew my mind. It's absolutely fantastic because what I learned from that is that we bring through blocks and pain from other lifetimes, and we also pick up so much stuff whilst we're in the womb.
Yeah, right.
That's passed on from our parents. And
Thanks,
we're
Mum.
carrying all of this stuff that gets triggered later on in life, and we don't even know, it's not ours. We don't know why we feel that way, we don't know what's going on, and it can be cleared in such a gentle way. Like if someone has gone through a lot of trauma or sexual abuse, I get clients like that, we don't have to rediscuss it. Or they don't have...
Which therapies are often about talking about the trauma and the incident and so on, and I, that's completely valid route.
Yes.
But for a lot of people, they actually don't go seek the help because they're so afraid of having to confront those emotions again, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And so when it is like deep like that, I actually don't need to talk to them. I'll talk to them for about 10 minutes at the beginning, and then they lie down on their own bed, they can feel the energy moving through them. I do what I need to do, and then at the end I just discuss what's happened and off they go.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I guess for some people listening to this, and I used to be that person to go, oh, it's all a bit woo-woo. When we really dive into quantum physics and we understand that we are actually, 99.9% energy, you start to get a real comprehension of what can be possible, because we're not just this, the table's not just this, it's only a tiny proportion of that. So if we think about ourselves as energy, and that energy can be damaged, I guess, is that how you would explain it? Or, or be stuck?
Yeah, so what happens is the energy just keeps building. So if you, for instance, if you keep having the same emotion of feeling anger, and it goes on for a while, that energy just keeps building in the body, and then all of a sudden you've got like bad hips, or it really depends what's going on, but the body is then saying to you, you need to deal with this.
Right.
So if you're in physical pain, your body is talking to you. It's time to go and find out what it needs to say. It's time to clear energetically what's going on, so that you can then, the pain leaves the body and you can go on and do what you need to do.
Like, I just get astounded every time I talk to you about this, because it's like, it is so simple, right? Like, so I think in our Western culture in particular, we've made it very difficult to move through pain. We've made it quite difficult and layered about how we get treated and what we need to do. And I think, from reading a lot of your work that you've done, you have a lot of people come to you who have been down the route of practitioner, chiro, osteo, like all different therapies for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
And they literally get to a point where they can't take this anymore, this manifestation of their emotional baggage, which they don't usually know it's their emotional baggage, that turns into pain. So give me an example, like, of who's someone that's come to you with having had a history of trying to relieve themselves of pain, and what has it been? And then what was the process that you walked through with them?
Okay, so I work with such a different range of people, like from solicitors to doctors, nurses, right through to amazing healers.
Yeah.
And they've all tried so many things. Sometimes I feel like I'm the last resort for them, because they've literally spent thousands of dollars trying to get fixed, and not
and time and stress and thinking, there's something wrong with me.
So for instance, I had a lady who come to me, she'd had back pain for 20 years. Like every time she was sitting down, she could feel it. It was really impacting her life, and she had tried so many things, and she was on medication for it, and it still wasn't making any difference. And she worked with me, and she literally felt it shift from her body.
Wow.
Yeah, and it hasn't come back.
And with that particular woman, what do you think the back pain was from?
Hers was related to a lot of anger that she hadn't dealt with, and she actually didn't need to deal with it like physically in our sessions. It was cleared without her over talking it again, because she'd been to psychiatrists and doctors, and she tried absolutely everything. I felt so sorry for her when she first came to me.
And so, to be really clear, she did not have to know that it was based from emotions.
No.
She did not have to know where that emotion was coming from, or an incident or incidents that it had come from.
Yeah.
All she needed to do was, I guess, allow herself to be in a space to be healed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The body is absolutely fantastic. It's like capable of healing itself.
Yeah.
It's just we're told that it's not. And then you start going to doctors and specialists, and we have to work with Western medicine as well. The two need to work together. I'm not saying that if you come to me then you don't take your medication, because that's not how I work. But what I'm saying is there needs to be that balance between the two, and you can get results by lying on your own bed and not talking to me.
Yeah. Now, these are not necessarily new.
No.
Technologies, or how would you describe, or therapies? They're not new, are they?
No.
We as human beings have actually been using them through thousands and thousands of years, haven't we?
Definitely.
And probably until reasonably recently, because of medicines and the development of hospitals and all of this kind of thing, and that paradigm that our bodies are broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people are really starting to be more open to different alternatives. It's not just mainstream anymore. People are, really looking into different options for them. And it just, when you go on a medication that the doctor prescribes, it can have so many other side effects that you suppress the actual problem that you've got, but then you end up with all these other problems because the medication is doing other things in the body. It's disrupting the energy flow. And so if you can stay off the medication, that's the best thing that you can do, really. So our body doesn't need medication in most instances, because it just suppresses the emotional block that your body wants to tell you about, that needs to be released so that the pain can shift.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not just medication people are masking the symptoms with, is it?
No, it can be alcohol, it can be shopping, it can be, spending money on different things, Netflix, procrastinating. Yeah. It can be loads of chocolates, it can be running. Running is another thing women do to try and suppress what's going on. They become runners, and it's not just like they run 1 kilometre, they're running 10 or 20 a day to try and suppress it. But what happens is the knees start to give the pain, because the body says, right, if you're not going to listen to this pain here, I'm going to give you pain in another area that's really going to affect you. It's really going to make you stop what you're doing. Go and find out what's happening.
So for people listening, I'd love for you to explain how you do it and what you do, without getting into too much detail, just to really ground them to feel like it's not just magic and it's not just made up and it's not too woo-woo.
Yeah.
All right? Because there is a science background behind all this too, isn't there?
Yeah. There's so much research that's been done, and you know, the way that I work is I'm using the body's energy, it's natural energy, and the energy around us, because everything is made of energy. And so what happens when you're in physical pain or emotionally stressed or overwhelmed is the body's out of alignment, and it's really triggered. And so I'm able to work with the body to get it back into alignment, to clear the energetic blocks that are happening, and for the pain to leave the body. So
it's pretty exciting, isn't it?
It really is.
For you, you know, how does it make you feel seeing the transformations of the people that you work with?
It's literally why I do what I do. Like, I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't getting results for people, because that is what gives me that passion to get out of bed. I absolutely love connecting with my clients every week, finding out how their week's been. They'll be triggered during the week sometimes, so we can clear that, so it's not going on for another 6 months. You know, just clear this stuff. Success really begins on the inside, and we have to clear that so that we can go to that next level and you know, help more people and make the world a better place. It's fantastic. Yeah.
You know, and what you just said, like it's an inside job. I know we've heard those sort of sayings before, but success really is about the work you do on the inside. And you know, I was reading on your website the other day, there was something you were saying how, like, the best personal development is to go and start a business. Right? Or, you know, step into your feminine power, because all of your triggers come up. And some people can get very, very overwhelmed with that.
Yeah.
But you're someone that they can go and work with that, like, they don't necessarily have to have pain. Is that correct? Like,
That's
they could
right.
be stressed and overwhelmed.
Yeah. Or have business blocks. Like, I have clients who come to me because they are sending out all their invoices, they're doing all of the work, and they're not being paid. And it's because they've got money blocks. So, you know, let's clear it, get the invoices. Like, I had one client, had sessions with me, we worked on the abundance. They had so much money coming in from all of the outstanding invoices, it blew their mind.
Wow.
Because they had been trying for so long to get these invoices paid, and people weren't answering the phone calls, they weren't getting back to them. It's your stuff, not we just need to clear it, and then it starts to flow again. Everything's meant to be in flow. So if something is like blocked in your business, or you're struggling to get clients, there's an issue that needs to be cleared within you, so that you can go on and make that impact and make that difference.
Yeah, everything external to you, so say what your business is like, what your business is operating like, is actually a reflection of what's going on internally for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were having a giggle because if we, you know, I'm a business coach, so if I told my clients before they signed up with me that it's actually about the inner work and all of that stuff, they would probably run a mile, because they're like, I just want to make more money, have an impact in the world. But I love what you do, is that it's being able to work at that core level to clear all of that. You know, I have a saying in my business, we can lead a horse to water, but we can't make it drink. And by that I mean that sometimes you can give all the strategy in the world, but as you say, if there's money blocks or self-belief blocks or whatever they are, the money doesn't flow. You know, literally, I've had clients who I go, so have you sent out those invoices? They're like, I still haven't sent it out. You know, there's all of those walls and blocks.
And that's the great thing about the work that I do. They don't need to know what that block is. Like, let's just clear it, you know. Let's get on and get you out there and do what you need to do. You know, people have so many different types of blocks, and it can really hold them back. And what they tend to do is they go and sign up for more courses, or they go and do more webinars, or they think that this is going to be the magic thing, and before they know it, they've spent $100,000 and they're still not got the results they want, and it's because they're not working on themselves.
Totally.
Having your own business can be an emotional roller coaster ride, and if you've got that support along the way to clear that, you're just going to go to the next level.
Yeah, and look, again, I feel like you're the secret weapon that people can have, because often people want more money, more time, more freedom, more joy, more happiness, and it's not going to be found in signing up for the next online program or the next webinar or the magic pill. So, and I see this all of the time. So I love what you do. But you don't just do the one-offs with people, do you?
No.
Yeah, so tell me about, like, if someone was working with you on a regular basis, what sort of results can they expect to achieve?
Exceptional results. Like, as I said, it blows my mind the results that they get, and I work with them for a 6-month period, and they have a session a week for the first 8 weeks, and then we space it out a bit so that they can learn how their body is responding and do the homework and things that they need to do to be able to then go off. Like, I don't want to be working with people for 2 years or anything like that. I'm there to give you the boost you need so that you can then go on and not need all of these other things to keep supporting you to move forward. Like, I teach as well as I'm working with them, so give them exercises to do throughout the week, so if the emotion comes back up again, they've got a tool now that they can go and use to clear it.
Amazing.
So,
amazing.
yeah.
And because it's not, often we're layered, aren't we?
Yeah, it's like peeling back an onion.
Yeah.
It's like and the thing is, once I start working with them, the issue that they actually fought with, they come to me with, is not actually the issue at all. We go quite deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you need to, don't you? Like, to have really long-lasting transformation. Yeah. 6 months is a very short time for people, isn't it? Like a very, very short time to have massive, life-changing transformation in all areas, not just business.
No.
In all aspects of relationships and self-love and self-worth and and being a better parent if they're a parent.
Yeah, definitely. Because what I teach them, they can then go and teach their children, which then has that impact. And obviously, I'm doing it for the animals' sake as well. And animals in the home don't generally have a voice, and so if I can bring that awareness that if the mum is anxious continuously, the dog is absorbing that information and the energy, and then it becomes sick, and then you've got a $3,000 vet bill. And sometimes the animals have to be put to sleep, but I really want to bring that awareness to people. So
this is a really interesting tact, isn't it? Because it's like, what's going on for you is not just contained to you.
No.
So it shows up in the animals, it shows up in the children, shows up in the relationship. Can you give us an example of someone, who you've worked with that it's had manifestation in, say, the animals or in the children, and what process did you do?
Yeah, so I had a woman who came to me first of all because her dog was really suffering, had really bad itchy skin. She tried all of the vet's medication for it, and then she was going down the herbal path, and this poor dog, the skin was red raw. And I actually knew straight away it wasn't the dog's issues, it was hers.
Wow.
And once we started to work with her, the animal improved as well. But what I really love doing with my clients is if they've got animals, the animals know when they're going to have a session. So my client goes and lies down on the bed, and then their animals are either on the bed with them or laying there. Or the cats
feel
are
like
just
I'm
there.
ready. Yes, please.
So I can work with them at the same time. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. There's one other piece I want to talk about too, and this is your husband.
Yeah.
Now, when you first started going down this route of the, energy healing and metaphysical and all of that, what was he like?
Don't believe. And he's still more sceptical than I am, obviously. I can't tell you, we used to be such big skeptics. We was not interested in this type of, alternative at all. And so he actually ended up, when I was working with Ella, and she was getting the results, and I'm still not believing that it's really working. There must be something else. Perhaps she just likes living with us instead.
Yeah,
you know,
which is curing her cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, all the stories that you tell yourself. But what happened is my husband had a really serious accident where some corrugated iron went through the crease in his arm. It went through a vein and an artery, and the blood that came out of that arm when it first happened, I nearly passed out myself. But anyway,
passing out thinking about it.
When we got back from the hospital, he'd had internal stitches, and then all stitches. It literally nearly lost his arm. That's how sharp it was. So when we got home from the hospital, I said to him, "Oh, can I practice on you what I do for Ella?" And he went, "If you like, I don't care."
Give it a go.
Yeah, I don't care. So as I started to work with him, he went, "Oh my God, Anne," he said, "I can't believe what's happening in my body." He said, "I can feel like tingling, I can see colours." Like he really gave me feedback that Ella couldn't give me.
Wow.
And yeah, it really changed his perspective as well on what could actually happen. So he needed to have that accident to give me the feedback that I needed to then take that next step out there and start really believing.
That validation for yourself that it actually does really work.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
It is, because the scar ended up being so small you can hardly see it. It just started to heal so quickly. Yeah, it's fascinating to watch that heal so quick.
You know, I feel like what you do is actually like a requirement for us human beings to live our best life. You know, and I don't mean to over-exaggerate that, but I mean pretty much every human being you speak to will have some form of emotion, like physical pain, emotional stress. I mean, stress is a killer. Like stress in today's society is rampant, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know, there's probably no one that you couldn't work with.
No, and as I said, like...
Or no animal that you couldn't work with.
Most people who come to me are a big sceptical, and it's like I'm the sort of bridge that very gently takes them over to understand that there is another way for the body to heal itself, and that's what I really love. You know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So for you, is there anything else that you need to share with people if they're listening to this and feeling like, ooh, this could be very appropriate for me? What do you want to share with them?
So what I want you to know is it doesn't matter how long you've been suffering with the physical pain or the emotional stress or overwhelm, you don't have to keep living that way. It honestly can be cleared, and what I'd love to do for you is to offer you a free consultation with me. It's 30 minutes and it's really a chance for us to have a chat and make sure that I'm the best person to help you. I want to get you results, and so when I'm talking to you, I'm just going to be asking you some questions about what's been going on, and if I think I'm the right person, I'm going to offer you, you know, my package to get you the results that you want. And if I'm not the right person, that's fine as well. Like, there's no hard sell from me. I want to make sure that we're going to be working together and it's going to be fun, and we're just going to get you results so that you can then step up and make a difference and do what you need to do in the world as well.
Oh, I love that so much, Anne, and you know, giving people like that taster of what's possible for them when they've lived with this for such a long time. So if there's anything in this story that triggered you, you know, perhaps you have animals that aren't that well, if you've had physical pain for a long time, or if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, there really is alternatives. And you know, I do love that we're talking about this, because neither one of us are, you know, typical woo-woo. We say that with all love, right? We're not typically the spiritual healers that you would think about, but we both believe deeply in this type of modality and possibility for people.
It, you know, once you start on this pathway, it opens up so many possibilities for you that you just didn't even think were possible, and that's where the magic is.
So good. Yeah. And it's been such a pleasure talking today.
Thank
you know, for all of you, I encourage you, go and chat to Anne. She'll be absolutely overwhelmed with appointment sessions, but I think you only do 5 a week or something, is that right? 5 of the complimentary sessions?
Yes.
Yeah. So get in quick, you know, go and talk to Anne, and you don't have to suffer, you know, you can literally live your best life. You can have that abundant business. You can move out of a lot of those blocks with beautiful people like Anne. So.
Yes, yeah, and remember all of the work that I do, you're in your own home, so you feel completely safe. Like all of my clients, the main thing that they tell me is how safe they feel. They really trust me and how much clarity and focus they have after our sessions. And so if that's something that you want to experience, then yeah, book a free consultation with me and we can go from there.
Amazing.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
So good.